let's do those. We'll just throw something together. Okay, so we're going to do the prayer, please. God, we ask that you watch over this meeting of the West Warwick Pension Board and the residents of this town. We ask for your guidance, your good grace to look upon this meeting, and we pray for our men and women overseas. May they come home safely. To all this, we pray in thy holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, approval of minutes. Minutes from the April 11, 2016 Pension Board meeting. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second it.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Executive session. In accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-4 and 42-46-5A, Section 2, the Pension Board will convene into executive session to discuss the personal issues and litigation.
We can do this now, or you guys can skip it if you want.
We'll want to skip it and come back to it so we can...
Yeah, but I don't think
Yeah,
you
let's skip it.
Okay, we'll hold off on executive session. Okay. Board council report?
We have,
Microphone.
I thought of it a second after I started talking. I think we have what I need to say mostly on the agenda. The only thing I wanted to double check is, have we gotten anything back on Lombardi or Farah yet from Nyhart?
No.
Okay. So we're waiting on Lombardi and Farah, see if there's any other questions on the workers' comp issues with those. And then everything else should be listed on the agenda today. The only, well, we can discuss it in executive session or discuss it. The redraft in Citizens Bank, we can do that in executive session and then come out and talk about those if you want.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So, short and sweet today.
Okay, very good. Payment of bills. Pension board's looked over the bills that are due, and I make a motion that we approve the bills for the month.
Do we have to do
Usually just
individually?
go through one.
I'll be going one by one, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Because I have to excuse me, this is our assistant, our vice chairman's absent today. Payment of bills, we have Olin and Penza, file number MBF 7372, general file for the amount of $4,335.65. MB 7372, West Warwick Pension Fund general file, amount of $6,092.30.
So then do that. Right.
We have Allied Court Reporters.
Oh, no,
No,
take
make a
a
motion.
break.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the two payments for the West Warwick Pension Board general file.
I mean, I think last month I mentioned something about the payments to Olin and Pencil, and then we never really discussed it.
We have
And
an
we have a-
itemized,
We have an itemized bill.
itemized bill of what the...
Okay, my question
payment
is
breaks
this
down
here, how did it come to such a high number? And who pays we pay it, right, from the pension board, it comes out of the what? Out of the pension money.
to. Correct.
So I'm trying to save money on the council here. I mean, I can't, I look at this here, and I see it, I mean, I see a lot of 20 minutes,
If you're going to go through just any of the specific entries,
You know what?
then we could do that in executive session, just
Okay.
to keep the privilege on that. But if it's a general question, then you can do that now.
well, my general question is, why is it so high? I mean, you've got 20-minute emails, how long does it take to do an email? I see a lot of emails there.
No, those are point twos.
Yeah,
It's
point
not
two.
20 minutes. It's a point two is a 2/10 of an hour. So it's 12 minutes.
2/10 an hour. Still, I mean, there's a lot of emails there. Okay, we'll discuss that later then. But I'm still, I still want to hold off on this. I don't want to do it yet.
Okay.
All right, so we have to
Okay, so I have to table that then.
Yeah?
Table
We'll
that to
discuss
exec.
that.
We'll discuss
Skip
it.
that.
Yeah, we'll skip that and
Yes.
discuss in executive session. Okay. Moving on, we have Allied Court Reporters, COT services for Mrs. O'Connell from April 11, 2016, in the amount of $226. Any discussion on that? Okay. Do we approve each one of these individually? Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Allied Court Reporters.
Well, I think all fairness to the people that are sitting in the audience, what was the purpose of having Allied Court Reporter? What was that for?
It's for Mrs.
It was,
O'Connell. She's getting a kid, so they type on the computer so she could see
Okay,
what you're saying.
okay. Again, this is all new to me, and I just want to, like I said, I'm working for the people in the audience there.
Yeah, it's basically CART, they do basically like a real-time closed captioning. So if
Okay.
you were to be watching with the words on the bottom of the
Okay,
TV,
right.
they come and they type it on the computer so that someone can follow along.
And I approve it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have OpenGov Incorporated, period of March 25th, 2016 to March of 2017 in the amount of $2,000. And that's our OpenGov that we use for the meetings to
That's
record. And
the trade, that's the videos and all that?
that's correct, yeah. It's,
No.
no, I'm sorry, it's not the video, it's the,
That's a different, that's Granicus. The
What is this for?
Open Gov Is, I don't know. it's for
What's Open-
finance end, right, on the computer.
I was under the impression that OpenGov was Granicus because that was divided up among the departments in town, and that's just a percentage of it.
Open Gov was,
OpenGov is.
it was voted on
all-
prior to you, Jeff.
OpenGov is the state website where we post the meetings, but they don't charge us for that.
No, that's the Secretary of State.
Yeah, which is OpenGov RI, isn't it? No?
I thought
I don't know how
OpenGov
to
was
explain
just the
Open Gov, I know it's
software that
something
we're
with finance.
purchased to allow
They
people
voted
to
on
see
it. I
things.
don't know
To
really
put the
much about
financial
it.
records online.
Yeah, online, that's,
To put them on the website you can scan all the financial records or whatever information you want to make public can be scanned online. I thought that was being done.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I do not even have a login for it, no one's ever given me anything, I have no clue about OpenGov.
Well, I make a motion, we table it.
I'm being completely honest, and I'm the
That's
clerk,
second,
so, I really don't, I don't have a login.
What it is it shows the finance as it goes on, but that should be a town expense anyway, not a pension expense,
Exactly.
because the
So I
town
look
has
at
it and the town is running it. And they're the ones that are posting stuff up there. So that's not a pension board expense, I think it's a town expense.
well, from what I gather after speaking with the town, whether we pay something or they pay something, it all comes out in the end. Because it's going to be adjusted, the 5-year plan gets adjusted. For bookkeeping purposes, it makes more sense to keep it as a pension item
And draw it out of the pension?
and draw it out of the pension. If it wasn't drawn out of the pension, what they're telling me is then when they have to fund the pension, they therefore fund less. So it's all going to come out to be the same, so it's cleaner this way.
But if you're trying to keep things above board, and you go back and look at every contract, and contracts is what runs your pension, believe it or not. Okay, when every union signs a contract, that's what governs your pension, because that part of the contract goes to a certain portion of your pension. Okay, so if you believe that theory that the town is throwing at you, okay, then you should tell the town, next time they negotiate with the municipal, the police, and the fire, okay, to eliminate it from their collective bargaining agreements. Because under the collective bargaining agreements, okay, it states perfectly that the town will assume all administrative expenses for the pension plan. That's what it says. And it was put in there for a reason. It was put in there for a specific reason. If you do some research, you'll find out why it was in there. Because they didn't want money from the pension plan being diverted back to the town. That was why it was there. That's why it was put in there. Because Clarence Cucci and the rest of them didn't want what is happening to happen. They didn't want money being funneled out of the pension, which is strictly supposedly for benefits to the employees, to be filtered back to the town of West Warwick. So if your theory is, well, we're gonna then increase the, then separate the pension plan when they do their ARC, okay? Put administrative costs and put the ARC. That's all you have to do. So eliminate it, and they'll just increase their pension contribution. I'm okay with that, as long as they put the administrative costs and don't make it part of the ARC. You gotta keep it separate, because the ARC may be 8.9 million, but with administrative costs, and if you have no guidelines as to what your administrative costs are, no budget, it could run the ARC up to 9.3 million. Okay? So if you have it separated, you'll know what's the true ARC is and what the administrative cost. And if you want to do that concurrently, that would be the better thing for the town to do. So you could basically see what you're spending a year. So it's only a suggestion. But if you want to keep everything above board and keep it in line with the contracts specifically say, so if you don't agree with that, if the town doesn't agree with that, negotiate it with the unions and see how far you get. Next time you negotiate with the union, say, we want administrative costs taken out of the contract because it doesn't coincide with the pension plan.
Is this something that has to be paid in full?
It was something that was voted on by the pension board that was piggybacking off the town, when you were upstairs, do you remember? That's what it is, that you guys,
I wasn't here.
weren't here. But I don't know how else to explain it, I know it has to do with finance and.
All right, so we're gonna have to look
But it
into
was
it
a
further
vote by the
regardless.
pension
So let's,
on who was on it at that time, do you remember?
so we make a motion, we table it and discuss, and again, look into it further
Maybe I
before we
can
make a
see if
decision.
there's a contract or something, if anyone signed
There has to
anything,
be a
maybe I can look
contract,
into
but-
it for
Okay.
you
Yeah,
guys.
maybe you can
Yeah,
Would that
present
help?
that to the board.
Okay, so motion's been
Or
made.
just table that one?
Yeah,
And I'll look into it, I'll try to find something for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just a clarification. I think when,
Just push the
Yeah,
mic.
just hit the mic, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry Tillier.
Get the- 1, 2, 3.
just a clarification. I know we said that you couldn't make the motion. You can run the meeting, you can discuss it, it doesn't have to be your vice chair. It's just that you can't entertain a motion, so you can bring up everything and talk. I know the vice chair is doing it, I don't know if that's how you planned it or whatever. I don't know if you misinterpreted
okay.
us. So you can run your meeting, you just can't. You just say, is there a motion on the floor, and then they make a motion, and then
Exactly.
you vote on it, and then you do it in the event of the time. That's all we're saying. We're not
Okay.
trying to stifle you, we're not trying to quiet you. You're the chairman. So I don't know if it was a misinterpretation.
No, thank you for that. All right,
All right, no,
I
I'm
didn't-
trying to help you out.
Yeah, thank
Trust
you.
me, I appreciate
I
it.
think we're trying to help each other out. And just on this other thing, as Kevin says, in our belief, or at least in my belief, the town wants the pension board to pay anything that they can, because the pension board does not have a budget. The town has a legal budget. Let's say it's $1 million, and they spend $2 million. Well, they get an answer to the people. I've asked how many times the pension board should have a budget.
Correct.
And
Should.
nobody, not one, wants to hear it, especially the last chairman. He railroaded this place, and the more money that comes out of the pension fund, the town does not have to answer to the people. Now, if the pension board, let's just say it's $500,000 for legal fees, and you spent $1 million, you gotta answer to somebody. Right now, the pension board can spend $2 million and don't answer to anybody. And I think that's where the aggravation is with all of us. And I thank you for listening. We're not yelling, we're trying to explain. And he's a new guy. He wants to try to save some money and get to the bottom of this. And Kevin's been talking for years, not even months. And that's where we are. And I don't know if you agree or they agree, but they can check into it. And that's my feeling. Town, when you're a politician, you're gonna do anything you can to get reelected and not answer to the people. And this town is, all 5 of them are that way. They can hear me, I hope they're listening, I hope they're looking, because that's 100% how I feel. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
and go, where are we?
Okay, why don't you finish the bills and then I guess I'll table it.
All right,
Yeah, it doesn't
so
matter.
table open call to
Yes.
next, make a motion.
Okay, he did, motion's been made, and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Town of West Warwick Finance Department, period 1, quarter 2016, $1,169.95.
That's for me.
What is this for? Is this yours? Okay. All
I
right.
figured I'd just tell you, that's my
Okay.
quarterly amount.
Okay, well,
So I'll make a motion to approve that.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Want to take over? You can if you
Sure,
like.
I don't, sure. Okay, let's go to item I, return of contributions. Do we still have amount pending, or?
Well, you guys at the board at the last meeting asked Peter Martin to come in, fill out the app, which he
remember
did.
that.
Normally, I would just order the amount downstairs with finance, send it to the actuary, have them calculate it. I still need to know if we're using the amount that I found. I need like a direct order to do it because payroll didn't have anything. There's his figures in there, so I would need you guys to authorize me to use that
Yeah, I
amount
believe that's
to
all we
send.
have on file for those numbers for him, because it goes back before the,
So I didn't just
Right,
wanna
I
send
know.
it because all I could find was what I showed you last meeting, but there was never a motion made for me to do that.
I think we should discuss it and make a motion so we
That's
can
fine.
get this gentleman something.
The card that, it's in the packet, it's
Here,
right
put
after
some-
the bills.
put some
It's
sticky-
this, the one that looks like this. That would
Oh,
be the
yeah.
most accurate amount, and it's the one I circled, the 6,000.
after this?
I think I'm good.
Oh, I gotta look at
You
those.
got it?
So you got those little tab things, Stacy, you can
I
stick on
can,
those sections?
if it's
Yeah, if you don't
easier
mind,
for you guys, I
yeah,
can
stick
do
each,
that for
stick one in
you.
each section so we can just go right to it.
Absolutely, I'll do it next
Or
meeting.
colored sheet of paper even.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine, I'll get little tabs, I'll order
Yeah,
them.
thanks, Tracy.
And a sheet right
If
before.
it makes
What's-
it easier for you guys.
Yes, that hand written sheet.
Oh, that's right, she checked the tape, but the tape was,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
I'll get nice color ones.
What are we looking at, the amount that you circled on the second
That
sheet?
would be, yeah, that would, nope, this one, Lou.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, this used to be a pension card that we wrote every year for payroll, so
Yeah,
I
that's
went through a bunch of boxes and files and I found this. And the funny thing is, if you look at the dates I wrote on here, he started in '98 and terminated in 2004, but he was on a leave. So his last contributions was 2003 that he actually paid in. So that would be the closest total, the 6,693.
22.
82. So you guys would have to authorize me to send that to the actuary, and then they would tack on the interest, and then he would get his return contributions.
I don't see a problem with that, Lou.
I don't either.
So the return contribution's already been figured out,
Well, minus the interest.
minus the interest.
It would have to go to the NIHOT for them to calculate the interest.
Okay, we're
I
not,
can't do that here.
okay, I'll make a motion, we accept it.
I'll second that motion, pending, the final.
Then I'll put
figure
it back
from-
on for approval.
Yeah,
Of
okay.
the actual numbers when it comes in, you know, within the
With
month,
the
probably
interest.
the next
Yeah.
meeting. But I
Yes.
wanted to be authorized to use
Yes,
those
please,
figures.
and you
All
could.
right, so
So
motion's
make a
been,
motion.
motion's been made and seconded, all approved? I mean,
Aye.
all
Aye.
Aye.
ayes have it. Next item, item J, application received.
Edward Medeiros.
Eduardo Medeiros.
Everything's in order?
Yeah, I looked
Yeah,
over his
everything
application,
is
it's a
in order.
normal
Just keep
retirement.
going in
It's a
order.
normal-
Okay, so we just need to, somebody place a motion if they want to
Yep.
accept.
I'll make a motion that we accept, that we approve.
Yes, yes.
Accept, I'm sorry, accept.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion approved. Okay, item K, applications approved. I got Raymond, I got
Beatty.
glasses, Beatty.
Beatty.
And who's that one of them? I go,
All right, he's
Look
a
at my
tax
new sheets.
assessor, he's retiring on 6/1, and his figures came in, that's why I originally said pending, they just came in on Friday. The amount of $35,6076.
Okay. That was it.
You guys have to make a motion to approve that. And he already signed off this, I went over everything with him, if you follow that packet, it's right before his
I got
app.
it right here.
Yeah, he signed off on it, he agrees with it, his medical's on there.
I see it.
It just needs to go to Rockland for 6/1.
Well, I make a motion that we accept it.
Okay, motion's been made to accept or approve.
Sorry, I was just, yep, I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
And
Motion
then
carried.
Cindy DeRosa, her numbers did not make it in. Nyhart was trying to get them to me today, so you're gonna have to table her for
Okay.
the next meeting, so someone can motion.
Yeah, I'll
that.
make a motion to table that until the next meeting,
I second it.
pending figures.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion's tabled.
Okay.
Next.
Next one's your FYI on Anthony Caswell to approve his final figures.
Okay.
He's already paid.
Okay.
Remember, we approved it pending figures?
Yep.
They all came in. If you look, he signed off on it.
Oh, good.
If you just want to motion it, that you formally approve this. His amount is
That's right.
14, 15, 47 a month for a normal retirement.
Yep, and I make a motion that we approve that.
Aye. I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion approved.
Next is Mrs. Kelsey.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Edward Roy. I'm an attorney. I'm here to represent Diane Kelsey.
Okay.
Do you guys read what I put in the packet?
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Mrs. Kelsey's
She's
entitled to
contested.
a one-time death benefit of
2,000,
which
yep.
shouldn't matter, which I'll probably have her sign off on
Yep.
after. And then the next
The
one's the
monthly.
monthly survivor.
The
that
percentage?
Yes.
Okay,
she has
yep.
a discrepancy with.
Okay.
Would you like me to address the discrepancy? I'm not sure if you guys are...
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
please.
certainly.
If you don't mind.
Certainly. Edward Roy, on behalf of Mrs. Kelsey. I represented Mrs. Kelsey's late husband and approximately, I think, 30 or 40 other disability retirees in litigation that settled approximately 2.5 years ago. And the consent judgment provides on paragraph 11 that the widow of any deceased disability retiree shall not receive any reduction in benefits. So it's our view that that paragraph in the consent order signed by the town and town's council, approved by a judge, applies to this benefit, and Mrs. Kelsey should receive the same benefits that her late husband was receiving.
What was the date on that, sir?
I don't have a certified copy, but it was approved, it was approved by the court approximately June 12th, 2014, so just short of 2 years
signed
ago.
off July 16th.
16? Oh, okay.
I don't know, I put it in
No,
there.
that's fine, yeah, that's fine.
So I guess the question is this paragraph 11 supersede what the contract says?
So, Kristen?
And that is the consent judgment was entered into with Mr. Roy representing the disability retirees and the town attorney representing the town on that, Tim Williamson. The pension board on that lawsuit was dismissed from the lawsuit, so weren't part of the consent judgment at the time that it was entered into. My understanding.
Mike Fort represented the pension board in connection with that, and we negotiated every, if you know Mike Fort, he's a very, very good attorney. We negotiated every comma, period, dash in the consent agreement with Mike's approval, so even though it might have been dismissed, he was part of the negotiations. An important part.
Stole the words right out of my mouth. That's the same office.
Okay, yeah, I know that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that Mike was part of the agreement up until the time they were dismissed, and I understand that the agreement was entered into. It's something that we can look into. My understanding from talking to Tracy is that it was the town's interpretation and Nyhart's interpretation that that paragraph did not change the plan, which called for a different calculation of the benefits, and when Nyhart calculated the benefits, they did reduce the benefits using the plan that they were reviewing. There's a couple of other questions that come up, and I don't have Mr. Kelsey's file, and I haven't had an opportunity to review it. My understanding is that he was retired on a disability pension prior to there being a disability pension, for lack of a better word, prior to that actually being even part of a plan. I believe he was retired sometime in the late 80s, if I recall correctly.
But he was part of the plaintiffs in the case.
Part of the plaintiffs in the consent judgment, exactly. But to be able to look at the terms of the plan at the time and review as to how the consent judgment would affect the plan terms is something I can do, and I absolutely would recommend that we talk to the town solicitor and we review the plan and the consent judgment as to how those interact, and given Mr. Roy's position.
Well, who came up, excuse me, I'm looking at the calculation of accrued pension benefit, and it says joint survivor factor is 67.5%.
That's the Nyhart calculation, right?
That's the NIHA, okay.
Yes.
So that benefit would be, well, Mr. Kelsey was receiving 3,100, so by getting 67%, it's 2,100. Is that what it comes down to?
Yes.
Flipping, that sounds right.
Well, then if she's supposed to be getting 67.5%, and that's what it's supposed to be, if that's a joint survivor factor, 67.5%, and 2148 does come out to 67.5%, then
See this?
I don't feel as though,
She's reading this.
what's she reading?
They're reading number 11 in here, in this
Okay,
consent
number
judgment.
11? Okay, I'll look
Was
at
it
it.
11?
Paragraph 11, yes,
Paragraph
on
11.
the consent
They're reading
judgment.
it against
Right, that the
that,
widow
so-
shall not receive any reduction in benefits.
It's a very,
That's a very vague
Yeah, it is.
statement.
Obviously, the question is what that statement was intended to
me.
relate to, correct?
Exactly.
Which is something that I would recommend that I speak to Tim Williamson, who was the other attorney, who was the attorney for the town representing them at the time the consent judgment was entered into, as to the intent of that paragraph when the consent judgment was entered into.
Okay, yeah, I agree with them too.
so we'll table this and talk to Timmy, or
That would be my recommendation.
what's your recommendation?
The town's obligation.
Yeah, obviously, we're gonna have to, do some due diligence on this and find out exactly, what that paragraph was intended to mean, and, do a little research on it. So, at this point, I'll make a motion to table this, and, we're gonna go into executive session, and also we'll speak, before the next meeting, we're gonna speak with, the proper people and find out, exactly what we need to do for that. So,
Will it be addressed at the next meeting?
It should be,
I understand, you have to talk to the attorneys, I
Yeah,
understand that.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll reach out to Timmy and see how fast we can get a turnaround time.
Okay, because Mrs. Kelsey has not received anything regarding benefits in several months now, so it
I
delayed.
haven't received any benefits at all.
Well, we can get you the death
I was just gonna
benefit.
ask that, can I have?
Yes.
her
Sure,
sign
'cause
off?
that has nothing
If
to
you
do with
vote
this.
separately
I appreciate
on
that.
the
Right,
2,000,
What about the
that's not
monthly?
gonna change no matter what.
will you okay with that? We'll, take a separate vote on this.
We're stuck with that
Okay.
until
Yeah,
it's
no, I think
decided.
that's not a problem.
Mrs.
Yeah,
Kelsey
I'm
would
fine
like
with
that,
that.
if the board, until the court or until the city solicitor decides what the actual benefit is, Mrs. Kelsey would like to receive the $2,100 benefit until we make a resolution of this.
Well, I make a motion she
At
receives
least
it.
receive entitled to that.
I
That
make
was
a
gonna be
motion
my
she receives it.
suggestion. My suggestion would be
Yeah.
that you do
Thank
provide
you.
that benefit, yes.
Yeah. all right,
Second,
so
yeah.
You make a motion?
the
Yes, I made a motion.
Okay, so the motion's been made to pay her the 67.5%.
No, the
plus
$2,000, no, the dead benefit.
No,
No,
wait a
no,
minute.
no,
No,
no.
to address the two things. There is the death benefit, which we're gonna agree to.
Okay.
And then where she also requesting receiving the 67.5% until it's determined if
And
she
then we
gets the
can make the
full
difference,
100%,
okay.
correct?
Without prejudice, correct, that's her argument that she's entitled to what her late husband was receiving.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yes.
members of the board.
Okay.
Can we do that in one motion, or does that
I
need to be
would do
two?
two.
Two, yeah, do
Okay,
two.
so, we'll make a motion that
The dead benefit.
Mrs. Kelsey receives the death benefit of $2,000.
I second it.
You're gonna get the 20.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay. And I'll make a motion that Mrs. Kelsey receive the 67.5% benefit, I'm sorry,
Monthly benefit.
monthly benefit,
Of 2148.
Right, 2,148.17.
of $2,148.17,
That'd be without prejudice.
without prejudice.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
Seconded?
I second it.
All right, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion's approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Kelsey, thank you.
All right, now wait a minute. All right, where we leave off? Diane
We're on
Kelsey.
Diane.
Diane DeRosa.
DeRoche?
So we just need a motion
Yep,
to approve one time.
yep. Make a motion to approve a one-time survivor benefit of $2,000 for Diane DeRoche.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the $2,000 survivor one-time death benefit to Joseph Simus.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
I second it. All right, didn't hear you. Reading.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries. The Quadro with Paul Carrington, is there anything to do with that now, or,
Yeah, that's fine. So I took a quick update on it.
okay?
Michael Fort from my office did speak to Christy Garside, who's the attorney for Mrs. Carrington, and she'll be talking to her clients and then getting back to us, but in the meantime, it's just waiting to hear back from her at this point.
Okay, so that's basically tabled. Want to make a motion to
Yep,
table?
I make a motion to table the Paul Carrington Quadro.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries. Item O, changing the August 2016 meeting date. That was actually put on here by my request, and I would like to change it to the 15th, simply because I will not be in town on the original scheduled date. So that's up to the board if they,
What day's the 15th?
it's,
We're gonna do it on the next, yeah, he wants to move it to the
Hold on.
15th. The Monday,
it is Monday.
right, because it was gonna be the 8th, I think we moved it to the 9th.
Correct. Yeah, that's
So
right. We moved it from
7th,
Monday to
that should be
Tuesday.
the
Right.
Monday.
So 15th would be the next Monday.
Okay, so 15th is
There's
Monday.
no council meeting or anything going on that day?
If not, I mean, we can have it upstairs, I don't know about I would have to check with they're closed right now.
Council meets on Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesdays, yeah, that's right.
Yes, so
I
Monday.
didn't know if there was any special workshops right
Okay,
now, yeah.
Yeah, I make a motion to change the August 2016 meeting date to the 15th.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay. Item P, benefit estimate statement. What's,
What are we looking for, Tracy? Benefit estimate statement?
Oh, yeah, the benefit estimate statement, everybody would like them, remember we were
Oh,
going to
that's
wait
right.
to 7/16, but there's two areas that the board's gonna need to address. I sent
Oh, 2
the
and 4.
information, I think it's 2 and 4.
yeah.
It might be something you might wanna talk about in executive session, or if you wanna talk about it now, I'm not really sure. Number 1, I handled, number 3, I sent to the schools. We pretty much, Deb thinks she has enough with number 1, and I actually just got the information from the schools today on number 3. But number 2, you guys are gonna have to make some kind of decision on, and number 4, about the projection on the statements, how you would like to see the salary increases, the 2%, or keep it flat going forward, so they could project on our pensions to get the statements.
We can,
One question two, right?
yeah, that's,
We have the, aren't they getting a raise or something like that? Aren't the employees,
Not right now, there's wage openers, I believe in the CBA, I mean, but but nothing's in the 5-year plan, there was no wages,
Well,
no increases,
No
sorry.
increases?
No increases to wages.
All right, so there's nothing specific that talks about item two.
Correct.
In the
In the
plan.
current plan, there's not.
So you guys would have to make
So-
some kind of interpretation.
Of what we think
The-
is fair.
The question has come up as to a person who has served under two different plans. They've served under the police plan and under the municipal plan. And the question is how to have Nyhart treat the service as far as estimating the benefits with how that service accrues and if it's calculated as to if it's tacked on or if it's not, and how it combines. That's the question that's coming up, because they want to put together a benefit estimate statement to be able to say to the employees, here's your years of service, here's, your projected date where you would hit your normal retirement age and things like that. So the question has come up by somebody who covers multiple plans, how that service is treated. Because there would be obviously different requirements depending on the plan.
It almost sounds like they should
Sum them
Done.
together.
well calculated separately, then put together, sum together. I mean,
Well, wouldn't it be from their first position and then going into the second position?
That's the question. There isn't anything in the plan that talks about the accrual and how the years of service translate over from one plan to the next. It's just
Well,
not
if-
addressed.
Well, if there's two different jobs, they should be treated differently. They shouldn't be treated together. Am I correct in saying that?
well, subject to
You know what I'm trying to say?
what
I
the
mean,
guidelines were.
If you were a firefighter, then you became a municipal, is that what they're saying?
Well, I think
Yeah,
it's-
well, let's say you were a firefighter and you became a
They
someone-
became a school teacher. You
Yeah.
became a teacher. Well, there's two different contracts there.
Right.
So, based on what his years of service as a firefighter, right, or a policeman, whatever, and then his years of service with the school department,
Yeah, when they calculate his benefits for retirement, it's gonna be based upon, that's what they're asking, how are they gonna base that upon? There's two different rates there, right? It was two different.
It would be
Two different contributions.
Figures,
Two
right.
different figures, so, that's the question. So, maybe we should
and go
table that.
further
talk on
discuss it,
executive
yes.
session.
Make a motion to table it.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded, and all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item Q, pension plan audit. Just a little summary. Basically, it appears that the pension now needs its own separate audit and not be part of the town's audit as it has been in the past. At least that's the impression that we're getting. I did speak to one of the auditors. And if that's the case, then we need to put an RFP together. And if we do put an RFP together, are we also willing to use the same auditor that the town is using? Or do we want a separate auditor?
So the reason you recommended that we use the same, didn't they?
It wasn't recommended, it was questioned because possibly it could be,
Conflict of interest there.
I don't know if it's conflict of interest, because even when they when we didn't have to have a separate audit, they tested certain things out and they made an opinion. We're thinking if we use the same auditor, we may get a little knockoff in price because theoretically they're here doing something else, then I have to send out more people. We're not sure if we could get a reduction in price, that was the
Right.
question.
So what you're saying, they're gonna audit the town and the pension board at the same time, but whoever's
Two-
gonna
but
pay.
two separate reports.
It's two separate reports and two different bills. We're gonna pay
Correct.
ours and they're gonna pay theirs.
Yes, and we just
So-
want to see if we can get a cheaper.
And of the towns, right now, how much, of what the town pays for their audit combined together, how much is actually for the cost of the pension board? You know what I'm trying to say? Let's say.
In the past, how much was it?
Yes. Did they give you a figure? Like, they get us together. Here's the town, and here's the pension board. We were together, okay? And they came up with one figure to pay for it. Now, if we're gonna be separate, what percentage of our expense was part of the towns?
We can ask and see if the
You know what I'm trying to
auditors
say?
broke down the bill. But I know what you're trying to say, but I think regardless, we're still gonna have to do our own separate audit.
Right, exactly. I don't mind doing that, but if the cost is smaller with the town,
Well, we have to send out an RFP regardless,
yes.
because we have to go with the cheapest bidder, so.
And that's what we got, put off the bid.
So we'll at least want to entertain the idea of maybe using the same auditor.
Yes.
If it's gonna save
That's
us
okay,
money.
yeah. I agree with that.
Okay, so we need a motion on that?
Um, Yeah, I believe we need a motion to place an RFP together to obtain an auditor for the pension plan.
And who you want to have draft the and who you want to have draft the RFP as well. I don't know if that's something that John Semino could give you a template from.
John did give me a template from Miami County or something, so well, we can look at that and see if there's any other ones out there from Rhode Island and start that way. And if there's nothing possible, then we can consult you or something, but we'll see if there's anything.
Has the town put I know the town was putting one out as well. I don't know if they
They're
put
putting one together because they asked if I would contact them and let her know our opinion on what we're doing.
So it's possible I mean, the RFP might be asking for a lot of the same information, so you might be able to work with them
Piggyback
to
off
get
that.
to get the information and either, do a separate RFP for the pension board or break the RFP into, an A and a B for the town and for the pension board, either together
Okay.
or separate, and have people price it out that way.
Good idea, okay, cool. Talk to John about that.
Okay, so I make a motion that we start putting together a request for proposal for auditing services for the pension plan after speaking with a representative from the town. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be fine.
I second it.
Motion's been made.
Can we have discussion?
Sure,
Public
sure.
comment?
absolutely.
What is this guy on?
I like those shoelaces, by the way.
Like those?
I do.
I glow in the dark.
We see you coming.
Kevin O'Connell, I'm the chairman of the West Warwick Police and Fire Disability. I was just wondering, when you go out for this RFP, is it going to be considered an administrative expense, or what kind of expense is it going to be to the pension board?
Well, what is it now?
There is
Town
no,
pays for
The
it
town,
now.
I don't believe the pension ever had to do one on their own before. so-
correct.
Okay.
But my question
Was
is,
the town's administration fee? How do they put theirs down?
I have no idea how it was.
Well, we'll have to
listed
find
for
that
the
out.
town.
it goes to the finance department. So my question is, if it's state mandated and they require you to do an RFP, and if you people vote that it's an administrative expense, would you in turn pay that bill out of the pension? Or would you in turn turn that bill over to the town and say, we agree that we need a separate audit,
But you pay for it.
but you pay for it? We agree with the Auditor General, if that's the new law in the state of Rhode Island where they're separating the audits. Is it considered administrative? That's the problem we have on the pension board. Nobody will exactly say what's administrative costs and what is deemed necessary to come out of the pension fund to run the pension. So you really need to address that somewhere down the road. And you people need to come up with a guideline of what exactly is an administrative expense, including secretary, computers, tape recorders, lawyers, and whatever else you want to buy, magazine subscriptions, whatever comes down the pike. You have to come up with a list of what is deemed administrative expenses. Because right now, it's just thrown into everything. You guys pay for everything, okay? It's $100,000, you pay for it. We want a new computer, you pay for it. So if you come up with a guideline, I'm just suggesting that if you come up with a guideline for the pension board and you say, this is an administrative expense and we feel the town should pay for that, if that's the way you're going to go with it. Or you're just going to say, well, we're going to go status quo and you're going to pay for everything anyways. But I really think you need to know what exactly an administrative expense is and get a definition. So you can tell people when they question it, say, no, this has to come out of the pension because it's pension necessary. Or, no, this is an administrative expense that the town needs to pay for.
Well, who's asking us to have our own audit, the town or the state?
I believe it's the state.
I believe it's the Auditor General, if I'm not
The Auditor
mistaken.
General, so he's suggesting that we keep it separate.
That's that's my understanding.
Per Gatsby, 68 and 71.
But, yeah, but you'd have to find that out as the board,
sure.
as to, who's requesting it. Is it the town saying you need your own audit?
Or is it-
Or is it the state of Rhode Island or the federal government?
Exactly.
Just don't go on people say so.
I'm not.
Thank you.
Trust me, I'm not.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you know me by now.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
So, I make a suggestion that we table this until we get further information.
Did you ever get your email that I requested from John Savino on the audit? You did, oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Did you, I instead,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I
Didn't he
know
talk
if
to you
got it.
today?
yeah, I met
You
him
gonna meet with
today.
him yesterday or today?
Today.
Yeah. That didn't come up?
Well, this did come up, and they
Oh,
were,
it did come, okay.
yeah, they were talking about the fact that we did have to have a separate audit.
Okay.
But again, I'm not sure now
Who's requesting
who
it?
it's coming from, but
Yeah,
it's
so-
just that we had to have a separate audit.
Yeah, regardless of that, motion still stands, right? I mean, we need a request for proposal regardless of who's paying for it, right?
Well, I get that,
Well,
If we
again,
have
who's
to have it-
asking us? If the town's asking us, just so they can save money, that's a different story. If we're mandated by the, like you said, the Auditor General, or whatever,
I can't be 100% sure, but when the auditor was speaking to me and he's listing GASB 68 and GASB 71, those are federal guidelines.
federal, okay. So how
So-
come it took so long for us to get our own audit?
Because these rules just went into
Just
effect.
went through? Okay.
So that's definitely my opinion, is
Okay.
that this is federal.
So if we're mandated, we gotta find out who's gonna pay for it.
Yeah, and that could be part of the second issue, but I do believe that
Yeah.
we still have to have our
Okay,
own
so we'll
audit.
make a motion to request the RF.
Yep, the motion's been made and seconded. We had public discussion, right?
Yeah, okay, and now we gotta put a motion in to find out exactly who's requesting it.
So we gotta approve the first motion.
Yep.
Is that on first? Okay, all right.
All right, so then a motion made and seconded to.
I'm sorry.
put it- No, we're all learning here. To put an RFP
Yeah,
together.
okay,
Also discussion with John
Mm-hmm.
Semino,
Representative for the town.
well, the representative of the town, okay. Motion's been made and seconded, so all in favor?
aye,
Ayes have it, motion carries.
okay.
Now you can put your second motion about who's paying
Who's
for
gonna
it,
pay for it, exactly.
Yeah, so-
I make a motion, who's gonna pay for it,
to find out who wants to pay
to
for it.
find who's gonna, wants to pay for it,
Okay. I second that motion.
okay. All in favor?
Motion's been made and seconded,
Aye.
I to pay for the audit.
all in favor?
Aye,
Yeah, we need to discuss administrative fees with them anyway. I mean, that's one of the
exactly.
things that was
I'm
on
trying to
the,
save money over here.
Okay. Wait, did you second yet? I mean, aye?
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Aye.
Yeah, we said aye, yeah.
It's all in favor, we're good.
Oh, we're good, all right.
Good, good.
All right, what do we got left here? Item R, discussion.
Ooh, here's a good one.
Hold on one second. Oh, the first one, Town Hall Pension Financial Administration. When I met with them today, they asked if we would be willing to allow the town to assume or assist with some of the financial aspects of things that we do now, like getting the bills, verifying the bills. I mean, we're still responsible for everything that we do in terms of applications, approving, accepting. They would just be basically taking care of the financial administration. Which would relieve some of the duties. I should say that we're unfortunately, we're really not doing, because they're only showing up
So-
once a month.
So they're only asking us regarding the duties, not who's gonna do the paperwork, something like that.
The financial aspects of it would go over to them, so they would receive the bills, they would know what the bills are. We still have to approve the bills. I'm still signing the checks. I think I'm signing the checks. They would be accounting for it, so it would be done in the general ledger system. In other words, they would just know more what's going on. It would be more transparent to the public.
Transparency and accountability.
Yes.
This isn't gonna be something we're gonna get a bill from the town for at some point down the road, is it? I mean, I hate to, when they say they're gonna take on responsibility from us, it makes me worry that
Wonder
they're
why
gonna
they're
slap
doing
us
it,
with another
right.
bill, so. And have we had a problem with this in the past, with any of the bills or the admin costs or anything like that? I mean, I can't see why, I'm just trying to wrap my head around why they wanna,
Well, one of
wanna
the,
take that
all right,
over.
one of the things they brought up to the attention was what happened with Citizens. How we had, we're not paying for 3 or 4 years. They're like, well, we would have caught that because,
Yeah, but that's nothing that comes through this board on the paperwork. That is something that comes in like, do you know what I mean, the monthly stuff, the reconcile, I don't know who does that. They already do some of that downstairs. We don't see any, I don't do any of that stuff. With the fees from it was an automatic.
What was that fee for, Citizens?
I have no idea what they're even talking about.
the fee for Citizens, that was when they were doing the,
Transfer.
They don't,
Right, that was for the,
They were doing
administrative
the
taxes.
the investments they were doing.
When they do
No.
Now
it's
it's
more on the investment.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
doing the
Ci-
checks.
The actual-
Citizens did the
But
Sending
bank.
out the-
that's already downstairs.
Correct.
So that's why I don't understand what they're trying
That's
to
already
say.
funded through
That's
the
already
finance department.
through finance.
But now we have
So-
Rockland. Rockland's sending the checks out. now.
Rockland sending the
Correct.
checks.
It's moved from Rockland to Citizens as of January of this year.
That's already stuff that goes through
So
them.
Citizens is all in the past.
Citizens was in
Citizens
the past, there was an issue.
Subject to,
Right, there was an issue that came up with Citizens that they had not been charging fees. And when they switched from Citizens to Rockland, Citizens found the problem, that the fees hadn't been correctly charged and
Well, that's their problem.
they would like
Wow.
to charge their fees. So that's
Well,
an
how would
issue
you
that
go
has
4
come up.
years without knowing you're charging a fee?
you're too big.
I mean,
They caught-
4
they caught it
years.
in the end.
That's a good
Huh?
question,
They
the
caught
one
it at
we've
the end.
asked.
And,
So we'll pay
tried
them
to-
$10 a month for the rest of our lives.
Let's give that
Well,
to the
we
town.
haven't received the letter yet, but I mean,
Okay.
obviously that is something we have to discuss.
We'll have to sit down with
It would
them.
probably be, in my opinion,
Yeah,
if it took them 4 years to catch it, it's gonna take us 4 years to
4
pay
years to
it.
pay it. There you go.
Something like that.
Okay.
They should just get clarification from the finance, what they want to funnel through here.
Yeah, I'm curious myself too, what type of
And,
financial
and if we're gonna be paying for it.
administration, yeah, exactly, so hold off on that one.
Can I be heard on that?
Yes.
As well as the last
I'm
item, if I
so
may?
confused.
Norman Londrich, 88 Silverwood Lane. I am the president of the Retired Police and Fire Organization. And just going back to the pension plan audit one as well as this one, I mean, I think it's probably conducive to all our bodies. When I mean you, the pension board, and welcome to the new members, as far as our negotiating committee as well as Kevin's, I think it's much more conducive if maybe Semino, John would be present, or Fred Presley, when it comes on these issues that really what they want you to do or what they expect you to
I agree
do,
with
as
you.
well as what we maybe could get answered is, hey, all right, what's really going on here? So maybe a meeting time where, because we have met with John and Fred during our negotiations, and as you heard Mr. Roy said, you guys were dismissed from our 5-year bargaining deal. So there's some things that you may think you're doing and should be doing that potentially may not be your responsibilities. And that comes down to the administrative expense issues. Certainly that's something near and dear to our heart over all these years. So maybe on these topics, it would be conducive to have everyone, because clearly maybe we'll be yelling at each other, or maybe they'll be taking a stance that you might want to hear their stance, our stance, and where we think it is. And we're just here, you know, as far as our vested interests, as we appreciate you looking out for that vested interest. And going forward, I think they want to do the right things, the town. But I just want to make sure your role, or as far as your rulings or votes on this, is what's
That's
best for the
proper,
plan.
exactly.
So, just my thoughts. my
No, I
2 cents.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I agree, we should have possibly our next meeting, if we can invite them here to discuss this further. Because this is nothing, obviously, that needs to be decided today, it was just discussion anyways, but
Right.
having them here next meeting would definitely be helpful. So Tracy, if you can ask them to schedule that, if not, maybe if we have to put a special meeting together, but that would be preference to the next meeting. Anything else on that issue? Okay, next item, disability pension income verification. Before I say anything, where to,
Yeah, no, we had tabled that from last month, just so that we could give our new board members a chance to catch up. So that's something that we just need to catch everybody up on. So that, you know, what happened months ago.
Many months ago.
and, yeah, where that is, so we can get you guys up to speed on everything that had happened and all the information that we've been provided by the retired regroups and, on this side. So that's something that had been tabled, and probably should get tabled again so that everybody can have a chance to review everything.
Well, do they have the information available to them, or do you need to send it to them, or what?
They
To
had,
get them up to speed?
Ed definitely does not, because I know he just came in. So I can send that email tomorrow that has all the charts and everything that we had from before.
Can you CC me on that? I think you
And
did send it to me.
I think
but
I sent it to
yeah,
you.
just in case.
But I'll send it again.
Did you also get this?
The memo, I have that, yes, yes. That's the one that you brought to the last meeting, right?
From Mr.
Yes,
Pezza, your attorney.
yes, I
Yes.
have that PDF. Yep, I'll email it too.
Just so they all have it, because I know.
I have that.
You have that, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll make sure, I'll re-email it to the whole board, all of the documents. That way you have one email that has everything on it.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item was the Monty fee reimbursement. I did speak to John Semino to verify that we did receive some money back from the El Monte engagement. And we did. It was, I think, like $22.50. The, I don't know if you want to call it issue, the problem is, there were two parts of the engagement. It was a combination of internal controls for the pension board system, and also a opinion on the taxability or non-taxability of the retirement funds. And the second part was never taken care of yet, and Chris was telling me you really can't because we're still,
Sorry. Yeah,
we haven't finished the negotiation with the town
correct.
council.
Oh, yeah, for getting, the redraft hasn't been approved yet, and it needs to be at the point where it's considered for approval by the town council, I guess is the best way for me to say it. Then you would get a tax opinion to make sure that you're not approving anything that's going to have tax implications that you're not approving of. But there's a process that we'll need to go through on the redraft that I had to talk about tonight, and I can go through it so that everybody gets the steps on getting the information on the redraft. We had met and discussed making sure that that goes to the retiree groups and to the unions and to everybody to review before, so everyone can have input before it gets over to the town council. So there's probably 4 steps, I would say, before it's at the point where you would want to have a tax opinion reviewed on it, because you're still going to have changes to it.
Can I say something on that? Pretty well versed in that also.
Absolutely.
Just make sure you turn on the microphone.
Yep.
Okay. And we just can't be on at the same time, so I'm going to turn mine off.
I can show mine off.
Kevin O'Connell again. Back in 1990, I believe, all the disabled guys received a response from the Internal Revenue Service stating that they came into the town of West Warwick and reviewed their pension plan. And under the plan that we retired under, there was a taxability issue. And all my members got fined by the IRS, sued by the IRS, threatened to go to jail by the IRS. Some of them had their accounts seized, wiped out by the IRS. And we went to the town council and we told them, we said, we got a problem here. You guys gave us a letter every year stating that we have a non-taxable pension, and now the Internal Revenue Service is down our back stating that they came into town and you didn't properly enact your pension by ordinance, you did it by resolution. So they said, well, what do we need, Kev? I said, well, they had a meeting at the town plaza, and West Warwick didn't send anybody. So I says, you really didn't send anybody when they gave you a letter saying that your pension was questionable? No, they never sent anybody. So we bore the brunt of that. We fought the IRS. So we helped the town develop an ordinance, 9402, which guides the West Warwick pension plan. And the town went to, I believe it was Thomas Riley, Riley Law Firm, and they got an opinion as when the town passed their 9402 ordinance. And Mr. Riley gave the opinion that it did meet IRS guidelines. They sent it to the Internal Revenue Service, and they verified that 9402 did meet IRS guidelines. and the pension was sanctioned by the IRS at that point. So anybody who went out on a disability pension from there on in received non-taxable status because of their on-the-job injury. So there isn't a legal opinion out there.
So there's no,
I have it at home.
so there's no changes that are being made that are going to affect that.
9402 is where it is, I believe. I'm sorry, Chris.
No, it's fine. We can only have 4. So now everybody's off except for us, so you can be on too. There is a legal opinion then. That's back to, I think, the 1990 redraft, if I
Correct.
remember correctly.
Correct.
And I believe there's actually a further opinion on the, maybe the 98 or the 02 redraft, I want to say, has an opinion as well. There is not an opinion that I'm aware of on the 06 redraft. And what we were discussing with needing an opinion would be on the recent redraft that we're working on that's going to be presented. That's a requirement that we would want to have, would be to make sure we get a tax opinion exactly for the reasons that you just said.
Because the disability pension
Well,
changed?
One piece no, it's not that the disability pension changed, it's just to make sure that the plan provisions don't say anything that would somehow step on toes of any of the IRS regulations, to make sure that with the current tax laws, the way that those are, that the pension plan still falls under those and correctly distributes, say, for lack of a better word, the disability benefits.
So if nothing's changed over the years, why would you have to keep on getting an opinion if the disability part of the contract hasn't changed?
Was it opinion on the plan as a whole, to make sure there's no provision of the plan that violates any kind of tax provisions?
And violates the contract? Because the
CBA
contract goes hand in hand.
Right, no,
Because federal law 4519-1 and 4519-19 says a disabled police officer could never get less than 66 2/3 of what a current policeman or fireman makes.
Right.
So you couldn't really change the pension plan other than that unless you change the contract.
Well, the pension board can't change the pension plan,
Correct.
period.
Right.
So there's no changes that are being made by the pension board to the plan. That's not what they can do.
Okay.
What's been happening is there's been a redraft that's been in the works, which is trying not to change things. It's trying to combine things so that you're not looking in 4 different places to get the answer to one question. Because right now, if you want to look at the plan, or if you want to answer a question of someone who's retiring tomorrow, you're looking at the plan, the consent judgment, the CBA, and the state law. And you have to look at every place and make sure that they all coincide so that you can get an answer that is the same answer. That's not necessarily true. There are places that the CBA isn't the same as the plan. There are places that the law isn't the same as the CBA. The consent judgment changes a lot of those things. So the redraft is just taking all of the different places right now and putting it into one place. It's supposed to be a summary of everything that is currently happening. That's the intent of it. There are also holes, which I'm sure you see every week, that everybody, or every month, I should say, that there's a question that comes up and the answer is, that's not addressed in the plan. The intent is also to fill the holes with the way that either the town is currently processing things or the board has made decisions that on a basis, a case-by-case basis, or as an issue has come up, if a decision has been made by the board or an opinion's been issued by the board. The intent is to incorporate current practice, decisions, CBAs, plans, contracts, consent judgments into one document. That's the intent. And then to recommend that document to the town council, because the town council is the body that can do anything, can actually, approve a redraft of the plan or approve a new plan. And as you said, they need to do that. It wouldn't be the board. The board's involvement is in a recommendation to the town council of, here's our summary, and we're recommending it to you. And it would be up to the town council to go through it. If there was any changes that were suggested or that needed to be made, that would be on the town council end for changing things. Did that answer?
Boy, it's complicated.
We're trying to make it less so.
You know.
That is the intention.
So,
So that when someone comes in with a question, that the board can just flip to the plan and answer the question. That's the intent, to make me obsolete.
I do understand that, but let's go back to my guys. Some guys have been out for 15 years. So they're not affected by your redraft. They're affected by the plan they went out on and the contract, even though
Yes.
the contract changed. The contract has changed for disability guys.
It has, with the
Okay.
consent judgment. Is that what you mean?
No.
Or just as the
With the
contract is
consent
changing?
judgment and for the current working police officers.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the things that's being incorporated into the redraft is because, like you said, it's the contract you would have gone out under. So I use the example of someone retiring tomorrow, but the other example would be someone who retired 20 years ago, is now we're recreating the wheel. We have to go back and look at the plan as it stood at that point when the person went out to answer a question as to whether or not there was a benefit that was calculated correctly. The other thing that we have incorporated into the redraft is a series of tables. And the series of tables have traced the plan from, I want to say, the 50s, when it originated, and the changes that have gone through it, so that you can say, okay, I retired on July 1st, 1975. I can look at this redraft of the plan, and I can go to Table C, and there's the information as it stood at that time. So you wouldn't have to instead go to the 3 shelves in my office that are covered with all of the old contracts and plans. It's trying to summarize the benefits so it gives people kind of a one-stop resource.
Okay, so you, in this new system that you're providing or proposing to the town, you would have my taxability status as when I went out in that file?
Yes.
Because I would not know what the IRS would say about me today compared to a
What they said then.
1990.
Yes, which is why it's important that there's a tax opinion on anything before it's approved, which you know.
Right, so, again, I got to protect my guys.
Yes.
The taxability status that they enjoy will
There's
not,
no intent to be changing that.
there will be no changing in that.
And
Part
the-
of that new formula you have, that will be part of it. You'll find the IRS opinion back to 1990 and say these guys enjoy a tax-free status because of the pension plan that they went out on. Is that correct? Or am I missing something?
You may have gone a step further than we had summarized, but I mean, there's no reason that I couldn't get footnoted into the opinion and put that opinion right in that chart.
Because you know how IRS, they change their guidelines and they change their opinions.
Every
Like I
day.
changed my shirt, you know what I mean? So I just don't want it affecting my guys if in 1990 we got a valid opinion from the Internal Revenue Service for 16 guys that went out on disability, okay? And they enjoy that luxury from 1990 to 2016. I don't want 2017 to bring a thing from the IRS saying, this does not support you guys. So now you're being taxed from 1990 to 2016 on a disability pension.
Right, I agree. I think all we're trying to do is asking for the opinion letter, because once we do the redraft, we want to make sure that everything stays status quo and nothing changes and you guys are just the way you were, which is why we want the opinion letter to cover our butts, so to speak, to
Okay.
make sure it is done properly.
Right.
You'll be
So-
able to view the redraft before it goes to town council
Yeah.
anyway.
Yes.
And if you don't have that opinion, I have it, if you'd like it.
I'm
I think you
almost
have it.
positive that I have
I think
it.
I provided it to Mr. Williamson last.
Yeah, I know I have opinions. How about that?
Okay.
I'm almost positive that's one of them. I'll
Okay.
double check.
I think
and
it came
send
from
you an
Mr.
email if it's
Fleming,
not.
if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Next item for discussion is pension board legal fees. Though I've heard all along since I've been here as a member, it's definitely been addressed to me more now as the chairman, that we need to watch what's going on with our legal fees, and I agree. And something I'd like to throw up for discussion, which also has been brought up in the past, is maybe we as the board establish a budget, and therefore that would be part of the budget. We can look at the past 3 years, what we've spent, back out items that were specifically for court cases, and just look at what we normally would spend for having you here once a month, typical expenses you have to incur, establish a budget.
Yeah, I know that we've provided a chart, I think, of all our fees, and I think we
For the
also
pa-
have a chart going back before it was our
Yes,
office.
I have seen that, yes.
Okay, so certainly, I mean, I can absolutely give you the information that you need if that's what you want.
Yeah, I just also want to think if we should establish a budget and
Isn't there like some questions that I'm in here that your law firm wrote up for a bill? Isn't it something we can ask Williamson an opinion on something? Because he does get paid by the town of West Warwick, am I correct in saying that?
well, that's going to go back to the same question.
We've done that. That's where,
Yeah.
that's where it used to be, what you're talking about.
Right.
It was Mrs. McGurl before Mr. Williamson, who is now Superior Court Judge. And she was the town's solicitor. We never had her at the meetings. If we made decisions on our own. If we had a question about a legality, I would send her a letter. We didn't have email back then, and ask her, say, you know, Susan, we got a question about this, you know, could you give me your opinion? Or come to the next meeting when we pay, the town would pay. She would come and the town would pay her to come. There was no pension attorney per se, there was never one.
It was never one, we never
Not
had
till
one.
1999, I believe.
Okay.
Mr. Alves and Mr. Mazzullo wanted their own attorney, and they decided to go venture outside the town's attorney, because they didn't like Mrs. McGurl's opinion. They just didn't like it. So there was a conflict, to tell you the truth. There was a conflict, they didn't like her, and they went outside the box and got somebody they liked.
Yeah, because I feel as though we have a town solicitor. I mean, maybe he can't answer everything, but I'm sure there are some questions that he can answer without us paying him a fee, because he's already on the payroll.
I'm not sure, I don't know how Mr. Williamson works, if it's just a flat fee no matter what, or
Well,
if he gets the charge.
Yeah, he has a contract. right?
Mrs. McGurl had a contract with the town.
So,
If she went above and beyond the scope, she would get billed, she would bill the pension board, who we would in turn vote to send it to the town. Say, okay, she gave us an opinion on a disability guy. Okay, we needed so she would give the opinion, we give it to the town. Here's her bill, and we go with her opinion.
Okay, so there were added fees, it was just for certain items.
You just never paid for them. You never paid for it.
Right, we never,
no, but we're paying for it
But
now.
now what you're saying, everything's lumped into this one giant clamshell.
Right, we're paying for it now, I see.
right, which I think that can be
You pay it
part of,
this way or you pay it
that can be part of the budget discussions of
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
administrative
Yeah,
fees and
absolutely.
what can we,
Right.
can we not do.
I mean, the more we spend on the pension board, the less money it's making.
Well, that's correct, for sure. I mean, and there are also certain items that we may not have to pass to Krista.
Right.
I mean, things that we can try, but we also need to realize if something's beyond our scope,
But that's
we're
different.
gonna have to either give it to her or the town, and we should try things on our own, but
You should, you're very well-educated people.
Plus that form might
I
help.
that was gonna say, that was one of the
Forms that
intent on the form that we, I don't know if, I think it was last month's meeting, or it might have been
Yeah.
2 months, was
Yeah.
last month's
Yeah.
meeting? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, was that we created a form so that if there's questions that go to the pension board, that it goes to you first instead of directly to me. Was to have it be a pass-through so that you could limit your exposure, and then there would be a board decision if a question required legal help. That was one of the reasons that form was created.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can't live what I see now.
I mean, we're all in agreement, we all want to save money, you guys want to save money, you know, we're all doing the best we can to
Right,
save
exactly.
every penny that we can on here,
We're
so.
not here to give you
Yeah.
guys a hard time. We're here
No, I
to-
know.
No, I just want us to
make
say,
things
we're all on the same
maybe
page.
maybe
as far
we
as
can
the-
also find out what other towns do in terms of having legal counsel on the pension board, or ask around and see what happens there as well, as part of putting a budget together and determining what administrative expenses are.
I can call all the community,
Yeah,
That sounds good.
like which ones would you like to?
Coventry,
Just like
around
around
us,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, call around.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not trying to cut your pay, Krista, but, you know.
I'm fine, I understand completely. I want to
She's looking for a vacation.
help you guys out, that's the plan.
Does it say Salvin?
Yeah, but you know what I'm trying to say? I mean,
Absolutely. And part of the redraft, and I know I said a long speech when I was talking with Kevin, but part of the idea is so that there are easier answers to questions. So that when you guys do get a question, it doesn't require me to go back and look at the books from 1990. It requires one of you to open the thing, look at the chart,
There you
and the
go.
answer's right there. So that it is, the intention is to make it so that there is less need of me.
Well, that's why we have a chairman.
Oh, yeah. All right, then I would suggest that we begin working on that,
Okay.
putting up a budget together.
Have to have a workshop.
Yeah, we may have to either do a subcommittee, or the five of us will to get together and just spend some time. And I'm sure it's not gonna happen overnight, it may take us a
No,
few months,
it's
but
not. But
as long as
it's a
we're going in the
beginning.
right direction.
It's a start.
I'll email you guys this after.
It's a start.
In the next week.
Right.
I'll call pieces.
Okay. Information on the RFP, we pretty much went over that in terms of the pension audit.
Now, do the employees and also the retirees, do they get like a statement explaining to them exactly what the funds are doing, how well the it's being managed and all that?
We
Do they
just
get
started
anything
getting
like
those,
that?
didn't we? We just got the first one from, did we just get a statement
Did
from
you guys
Claybrook?
just
Yeah.
start getting your first one?
Did you ever receive a statement?
I can send them to
Oh,
you.
that'd be great.
I think I gave, did I give them to you, Saj? I did give you,
Look one.
yeah.
But they're supposed to be sending them monthly, and we're supposed to.
I think I did just get a month that I sent you
Yeah,
guys.
February,
I
yeah.
can include like you, Kevin,
Yeah, I
Norman.
appreciate it. Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
can just hit another button on you, like.
Yeah, Norman too.
Yeah, Norman, Kevin, and stuff.
Yeah, because who handled that before?
That's
Citizens,
it, so
didn't
you
they?
guys can circulate it.
And then
No,
it's a
before,
wrap.
Like I said,
before
I'll
Clear,
send you
Citizens,
Clearbrook.
it does the banking.
Whatever Clearbrook sends
So
me,
before,
I'll
it was
send you
Citizens,
guys.
now it's Rockland, and now
I
it's
thought that's what's
Clearbrook.
supposed to be on
It used to be
Open
Morgan Stanley.
And who is it now?
Clearbrook.
Claybrook.
Oh, Clearwater. All right.
I never heard them vote on it.
I remember, I think there's something signed upstairs. I wanna look for next meeting.
Okay.
Open Gov thing where they.
See, I thought stuff like this would be on OpenGov.
I'm gonna look into that,
Thought
because
so
I
as
always
well.
thought that was something else.
That was out there a while ago. I
It
guess.
was-
That's the one you're thinking
Yeah.
about, Secretary of State.
Yeah.
This
No.
is totally
you
separate.
No, no,
weren't
yeah,
thinking
no, not
this,
secretary. I thought it had-
something was
Yeah, no, I know you
There
weren't.
was-
signed, 'cause I've been waiting for a login, but not that I was going to do anything. I thought even when you guys interviewed like Clearbrook and whatever, you guys even asked them.
Actually, wasn't OpenGov what our
Yeah.
assistant chair was
Yes.
negotiating the
Yes.
contract with?
And it came to $2,000, they were gonna piggyback off the
I
town.
think that was the case.
I honestly don't remember.
And
I
I-
know there was a session on training. There was a couple of training sessions that I believe the chair went to with John Semino from Finance. I don't know who else was on the call. I know there were conference calls with OpenGov on training on how to use it. I just don't remember how far back the contract went.
I'm not sure either.
I got a
I
funny-
think they actually piggybacked off the town, because the town was going to do it for the finance end. And I thought even when
Right.
you interviewed Clearbrook in that, you guys asked, they had their things, and they would actually put that stuff on.
You know what? I think you're right. Clearbrook was part of that. I believe that's correct, that they were
supposed
supposed to be
Everybody, that's why I
a
was
direct
supposed
to,
to do nothing.
because I know the Clearbrook statements, the intent was that they
Right.
be visible for everyone.
And
Yeah.
finance
Right.
was supposed to do a big bulk of it, like put in.
Right,
reports,
input
and
the
that's why I'm saying
information.
They already do
Yeah,
it,
it
and
started-
no one's doing it, and we're paying.
Yeah, they just billed us too for the beginning of the year, so we need to put a stop to it now, get a
But that's the
refund.
thing,
Or, I
we
mean,
weren't
not
really.
bad.
Well, the
Yeah.
idea is to have the
It was the
information
other-
out there so it's
Finance
accessible
was
to
supposed
anybody
do
who
it. I
wants
think
it.
Clearbrook
That, I
was
know that
supposed
was
to
the
just
original
input
intent.
everybody's
I honestly
time
can't
to
Is that
remember.
just the financial information that?
It was all of the banking and the investment information and the
Right.
monthly statements that we were just
Are
discussing.
those
to
not
have that.
available from?
That's
Claybrook?
online.
I mean, it should be
I don't know
available.
who's
You
doing
could go
that.
I
online
can't
and
see
see
taking
that.
it from one place
And-
and uploading it
I
to
You
know,
see the
another.
Clearbrook
I-
statements?
I
That
think
that
they
should
was
be where you get it on
supposed to
OpenGov
do it
online.
I saw it when we were on the website,
On whose website?
the West Warwick website.
That,
I was looking at the numbers, and
That's
I'm
who they
not, and I'm not
contract
happy
with.
about the numbers.
Yeah, I
That's
think- I
o-
think
that's
OpenGov
OpenGov.
is what
Well,
gets you
that's what
there.
gets you
That's
there.
right.
That's
You're
what
right.
it
That's
is.
right.
That's
It's
what I'm
connected
saying, you
through West
can
Warwick.
get to it, but I don't know how anyone's working it,
So
where
we
it's
need to
coming
research
from.
this
So-
more and
No one's doing it.
How long has Clearbrook has been handling the investments?
just
just started in January.
And before that was Morgan Stanley?
Morgan Stanley.
Yes.
And who made the opinion to move it from Morgan Stanley
was
to
it-
Clearbrook?
we
No,
sent
they-
that, we did an
Board.
RFP and,
Yeah,
I
there
mean, we had a
was
subcommittee, that was,
a long
took a long
process
time to get
in
that.
doing that. That started, I want to say, 2 years ago
And
with
who
a
wa-
subcommittee.
Right, but who was the ones that decided which funds to put the money in? Who'd you leave that up to?
Oh, that would be.
I mean,
Claybrook, so that was a
Right.
decision that we made.
so you let Clearbrook make the decision where they should invest the money?
Well, yeah, they have a basic operating agreement that
Exactly.
they have to follow, but
Okay.
we let them take
Take
the
out the
lead
funds.
instead of letting us make the decisions,
Because I see
we
some,
really
of
don't.
I see some of the funds that are there, and
Yeah, they just did a presentation at the last.
I don't like
meeting.
them.
The
They're
last,
not
right,
making
2
any
two
money.
months ago.
Yeah,
Three-
just
3
before
months ago.
February, I
well,
think.
I see it,
February,
that's my
and still in
job.
draft
But that's
taxes.
what you
Yeah,
guys are supposed to
Ed, I
do.
have the
Good.
packet. They did
Yeah.
they did a presentation here in February.
Did they?
Yeah, and I
I
have
wish
some
it was
information. I'll
here.
give it to you.
Okay.
They handed out packets and stuff. So.
All right, I would have loved to be here.
Oh, you'll be here for the next one. They come.
Yeah,
They come quarterly.
They go quarterly? Okay, great.
And there's an investment policy statement that you have. That's what Lou was discussing. That's the guidelines that they stay within
Right.
for the investments.
Yes.
So I can email you that if you don't have that. I can
No,
email
I don't
that
have
tomorrow.
that.
I'll email it to you.
Oh, great, thank you.
Or actually, unless you want to have Tracy email it to you.
What?
Oh, look at me!
Oh, yeah, right, you're gonna say some
Saving
money.
money already.
Tracy,
Point two, point two.
point two, Tracy. Yeah,
What
we-
do you want?
I have to dig deep down.
We would have been charged 20 minutes. No, do
Oh,
it.
jeez.
No, point two.
Point two.
What do you want me to send?
I've seen her type. She can
Investment
type
policy
pretty fast,
statement.
so.
The Clearbrook contract has an investment policy statement. It's IPS is the abbreviation.
Oh, I got that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
I remember that. Send
All right.
Eddie.
I can always pick it up.
Whatever, I can give it.
It's only a page.
All
That's
right,
a short
good.
one.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Executive
Yeah,
session.
'cause I need to
Well, let's do,
decide.
Yeah, I have all these.
before we go to executive session, is there any comments from the public? Any further
One
comments?
question.
Yes, sir.
The Almonte reimbursement check. I remember at the meeting when Krista gave it to you. Remember you got 2250 from Almonte.
Yeah.
Now it went to town finance.
Yeah, I sent it
Now,
to
did
finance.
finance deposit it back to us in the pension?
That's
That
John's
It
was
should,
our- That was our money
right.
that was spent for that. So after finance got the check, did they deposit it back into the pension plan?
They should have. Yeah, why don't we have access to the statement so we can see what's coming in and out?
You do for Rockland?
Does it give me the details that's gonna show me?
It probably will. We have an online thing. I can send them to you, but that's what they're supposed to look at downstairs, finance. But I can get you a copy of it.
Or get me online, I can do that.
I'll try to get you online.
We should CC you on that when they.
But that check did go, when you gave it to me, I'm the
Yeah,
one
I-
that sent you all the information on it. That was me, not John.
Right,
And I
yeah, so
sent it to John Camino, who was made out to the town of West Warwick, so I could not send it to Rockland.
Right.
So I emailed it to John, and he just confirmed that he deposited it. Where? That's up to, I'm not sure.
We're gonna find out where.
Should be reimbursed to the pension plan.
I agree, that's something I would assume happened, but.
But I can get you monthly.
Morgan, he went from Callahan Morgan to Clearbrook. Do we have a final statement from Callahan Morgan as to what they turned over to Clearbrook?
What they sent me, Sach, did you end up finding the information
No,
before I
because
left that
they're
last
supposed to-
month? That's what they sent me.
They're supposed to give an end-of-year statement. So we should have something dated 12/31/2015. We don't have it. We got it in 12/31/14.
Did we make this
Right,
January
that's
1st? That's
the
when we made
last
the
one
change?
they
Yeah, I don't
sent
think
me.
so.
Right,
No,
so there should
but
be an
there's-
end-of-year statement.
There should be an end of year statement though. As far as I know, there should be a summary. Just even if you had only had them for the first 2 weeks of January, you would still get an end of year statement that just gave you a year summary for whatever months you were covered. Is my
And
understanding.
also, there should be a statement as to what they turned over to Clearbrook. So we
That-
know what
that should show up in our
Clearbrook got
first.
from the
Right.
beginning.
But that should show up, I thought I sent you and John, you guys looked at.
I think
Or
what I
sent you
think what I
Rockland
saw
and
from
Citizens. I think I went from January.
Morgan Stanley was not,
No, not Morgan and Stanley, I'm talking about the banks.
What Clearbrook did was they didn't show what came over from Kelleher Morgan
On their report.
on their report. And Kelleher Morgan never did an end-of-year report.
Yeah, because remember, I asked them for it, and I sent whatever they
And
sent.
the one they
And then I went,
sent was dated 2014.
because that's the last one they keep sending
But
me
they have to
every
do
time
it.
I ask.
But they have to do it for the year ending
Right.
15.
Just so you can see the end balance from Morgan Stanley is X amount and the starting balance from Clearbrook is X amount.
Right.
Right.
So can we send them another email requesting
I
that?
will.
you want to CC me? Just so-
I believe there were
I think I
multiple
did on all those.
transactions,
And that's
so
what
maybe
I
that,
got
like
the-
for starting for Clearbrook, it
Doesn't
might
matter, we
be
didn't-
a
we
period of
keep
time
sending
you
me
need to
that
cover. I don't think there
before.
was a date, a one day,
But I'll send it again.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
But the 1231 balance, we should go.
should be a final.
should be like
Right,
the same.
right. But I don't think, I think Lou just brought it up, and I said January 1st, but I think I was thinking of Rockland, and I apologize. I don't think it was January 1st for, oh, no, it was. I think it was for both of them, for
Because
Clearbrook.
The only statements we got from Clearbrook were January, February, and March.
Okay. And I can double check too the dates, but I know exactly, well, I won't. Tracy will double check the dates, and if there's any questions, she'll ask me.
All right, see, it's working.
Email.
No, we're paying her overtime.
It's all right.
It's true.
She makes a lot less.
You'd rather pay Tracy.
Yeah, I'm going.
We'll go upstairs and I'll type it the right way, but I asked for it. I think I showed you what I typed last time. This is what they keep sending me.
I have one more question, so you.
Your quarterly bill's gonna go up.
I know, last time Mr. Fonseca questioned, NIOT when their contract expired. Did you find out, Trace?
We
what-
did
Oh, I did send you guys what
Yes, you
I
did.
could find, and we couldn't find dates in there, correct?
No dates in
I know
there.
me and Jeff talked about it.
So you don't know if you're 4, 5, 6 years?
No.
It wasn't
I don't
surprisingly,
think there's
it
a
wasn't-
term.
There wasn't
I-
a term because we
No, I
couldn't
That
find
makes it a
one.
month to month then?
Yeah, I know, I don't think that, I don't think that they're committed to a term.
Kevin,
I
I
don't
went
think.
downstairs to the town clerks, I went one step further, when everything I had in the pensions book, I couldn't find a date, and I didn't wanna ask them because I wasn't authorized to actually ask NIHOP for it. So I'm looking and looking, we went downstairs, I found unsigned resolution, we couldn't find anything in the clerk's office either. Cause you know, that ends up going through the council to vote, we found something that they looked at the RFP, but Paula couldn't find a contract for me downstairs either in the clerk's office. We looked the other day.
That's a little scary.
I could
No, I-
ask NIHOT if you guys want me to, but I don't know.
Well,
Well,
I-
open up Pandora's
I
box.
say,
maybe.
I'm almost positive I have that signed contract.
Okay, and it very well could have been, because it was with Mike, and I just didn't get a signed contract even
That was
with
my next
other
question.
things.
Is their contract open to the public? Could I read it?
It should
Yeah.
be.
It should be. It should be public
Absolutely,
knowledge.
But I can't find it.
That's why well, that's why I think I have it, because I think that I had it for the, a public record request. That's why
If I could find it, I put whatever, I said
Absolutely.
whatever I could
Better
find.
go
I
to those
found a
3 big
resolution
shelves in your
on the
office.
RFP, I
I have a whole
found the
cart that's
contract.
just West Warwick,
But
and
it
it
said
takes up a
on the
whole.
above date, and I called Jeff and we tried looking, I go, do you see a date? Didn't it say
No,
something
there was
about
nothing
the
on
above
there.
date?
It was very vague, yeah, it
And
said,
was very big, and
it
then
mentioned
there
the
was
date.
signatures on it, but we couldn't find a date.
Yeah, but this would be concerning to me as a board member, and I'm sure it is to you, is if you don't have a signed contract, you don't know what fees they're charging you, what extra.
No, I
fees.
said
No,
we
no,
do some
that,
fees.
that is in there, we just couldn't
Just-
find a date.
there's just no date
I just said
in
that.
terms
But
of-
So you do
it
have
was-
a
Oh, yeah, we do have a
contract,
contract,
you
just
just
not a
don't know
3-year
if
or-
it's expired or
Correct.
it's
Yes.
only month to month.
Yeah.
I can't find that
No,
portion of it.
If I
found
remember
the
correctly,
contract.
I do not believe that you committed to a term. I really don't
So
think
then
so.
that must
Like,
just
I
be
know that
right.
Rockland doesn't have a term.
No.
So it could just be a contract listing their fees and responsibilities, but that's it.
No, I found that, yeah.
So if you're unhappy with him, you can just.
We could do an RFP for that as well.
Mhm.
Correct.
May I ask a question? Diane
Yes.
Kelsey. You said you don't, Kristen, have a contract with Rockland.
Well, no, there is
We
a
do.
contract. It's just not, you're not bound to a term. You don't have like a
So it's not a
5-year.
term.
Right.
So if they decide to raise their fees, as an example, do they have to give you advance notification?
Yes.
How far in advance? A month?
I don't have the Rockland contract on
I
me.
was just
I just don't remember. I believe it's that the fee schedule they'd negotiated, and if I'm remembering Citizens because I've looked at that more recently. So I'll just give you an example, but I can certainly send you Rockland if you want.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
Sure.
I can give you my email.
Yeah, just give it to I was saying, or give it to Tracy. Either way. Come on, Tracy.
Email.
Grab
Contract.
Killing me.
Their Citizens had it that any fee adjustment had to be mutual. So if they were going to increase the fees, then there was they had so many days to tell you, but it had to be, they had to give you written notice, you had so many days, and it's a provision. I'm 99% positive it's the same with Rockland, that they have to give written notice of any intent to increase fees. I want to say it's at least 30 days, I think it's longer. But to give time that if they did want to increase their fees to a fee you didn't want to pay, that you could throw an RFP out and not pay those fees. So there is definitely a time frame in there. Off the top of my head, I honestly just can't recall what it is. But there is there's no 5-year term. So if they did ever increase their fees to an amount that the board didn't want to pay, there's nothing to stop you from putting it out an RFP immediately.
Does the whole board get notice if they're gonna raise your fees, or would just Mr. Vistano get it? And they would rely on him to pass it to the other board?
I don't know.
It would go to the town, it would go to the pension board office, so Tracy would
So
get
then
it.
I would notify all of
Right.
them, because I notify all of them on almost everything. I'm gonna send you the NIHOP one.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the quietest meeting I've
Oh,
ever
you
been
got,
to.
you are.
You what? Not, okay, so I'm not sending any signed contracts unless anybody asks me otherwise.
I got them in a folder.
Now, one other thing, this is to, I know Lou probably doesn't have it, or Ed, but Jeff, you've read all the contracts.
I have, yeah.
Have you guys gotten copies of the contracts so you know what's going on under the pensions?
I have the contracts that were in existence when I came on board 2 years ago.
I believe they're available on the town website,
On the
so,
website,
yeah.
so that's what I'm saying, that's something that you guys should have, so you understand.
They
no, I-
have these,
Yeah, I have that
so,
with me.
yeah,
You know what?
this is
I'll print them,
the plans, the contracts, the
Okay.
consent judgments.
and I'll give them the.
Well,
Okay. All right,
They did,
thanks.
but I don't know what happened to binders as, I don't know that they were passed down.
Right,
I
thank
don't know
you.
if I ever got one.
Yeah.
I never
No,
got one.
I gave him a
Trace-
lot of stuff, I'm gonna just told him, I'll print him the contracts, and if anyone else, I know Jeff's all set, I did that for you.
Yeah, you did, you made me that
You would
I
package,
gave him
yeah.
a nice, you know,
You did, I had a welcome package.
What you need is,
Little
you need
mint.
the CBAs,
Yep.
you need the consent judgments, and the plans. So you'll have different categories, so you'll have a police, a fire, a school, and a municipal category, and you need each thing that goes with. The only one who doesn't have a consent judgment is the school municipal. But for the police and the fire, you would have a CBA for each and
And
a
then,
consent judgment for each.
yeah.
And then the one plan.
Yeah.
And then for municipal, you'll also have the
Library.
CBA, library. I should just look at my table of contents.
No, that's all right, I kinda got the idea, I
Right.
kinda get it.
And then you also have the disability consent judgment. You
Yeah,
have
which
all
each of
that,
them.
that's what's in here.
Now that you brought that up, I have a quick question.
Sure.
The gentlemen who choose not to join my organization and who do not put their John Henry on the MOU or the consent judgment, how is the town and the pension board dealing with them under the current pension plan or the MOU?
Well, what's the scope of the MOU? I mean, what did it say
The
exactly? Did it
MOU,
cover all?
we had a suit filed against the town because they decreased. Oh,
They can't hear on the video if it's
I
not
thought I
on.
was loud enough.
Well, you know what they said last month? Because there weren't microphones up here, nobody could hear anything.
Kevin O'Connell again. The MOU consists of, we had to file a suit against the town because their past attorney, not Olin and Penza, looked into a contract and they says, oh, disability guys aren't supposed to get longevity and holiday pay. So they sent us a letter canceling it. Did away with it. Bingo. Okay, and we had no say, so we had to file a lawsuit. Okay, and that cost the town a pretty lump sum of money and cost my guys a lot of money. Okay, so we ended up in a consent judgment, okay, where the town had financial problems, which we all, so my group gave up holiday pay, okay? The current disabled policemen and firemen get holiday pay. My guys don't, okay? So there was 32 that belonged to my organization, I believe. But there were some policemen and firemen that chose not to join. They were disabled. They said, we're not going to join. You know, it's costing you guys a lot of money. I had to assess my guys every month to pay our lawyer and everything. So they said, no, I'm not joining. So we went to court in front of Judge Rubine, and he gave us a consent judgment. Mr. Williamson's there, Mr. Fort was there, my attorney was there, and the judge says, you all agree to this MOU? Everything that's in it? Yep. You know what it says? It kind of redrafts the pension plan. Okay, because you're not getting certain benefits anymore that other people get. We all understood that. Town understood that. So my question is, what happened to the guys that didn't join my plan? Didn't join the MOU? There are disabled police officers and firefighters out there who didn't join. Are we receiving benefits under the MOU that they didn't sign, or are they receiving benefits under the old pension plan that they went out under?
Well, that consent judgment was specific to you
For-
guys?
Just for the guys that joined the organization.
Yeah.
Okay, some guys chose not to do it. They were disabled, but they just chose not to join it. And I could understand, because I assessed my guys a lot of money, okay, to pay for this. But they chose not to join it. So my question is, and nobody's been able to answer this, is what happened to them? I mean, I can't say that I really don't care, but I represent those 32 guys that did sign it, and I assessed them money.
Right.
So I hope they're not enjoying the same benefits that my guys enjoy that paid into it, because they're not part of the court-sponsored MOU that was signed. You know, it totally changes the plan, because we're really not on the pension plan anymore, we're not on the CBA, because we defined it under certain areas. And if you read the MOU, you'll see it, and that's why Mr. Roy was discussing it. And because paragraph 1 point, but at the last paragraph, it says, this agreement nullifies all other written and oral agreements, okay? So my guys have to abide by what Judge Rubine signed, okay? They are bound by that, and they understand
How many
that.
didn't sign?
I think there was 5? 5. 3 firemen, I believe, and 2 policemen.
Are they still alive?
They are,
Well, we could find out very easy if they're collecting holiday pay when we see them.
exactly.
We could check that out.
Is that public information? Are we allowed to disclose?
You could generally look at what benefits are being provided. I mean, certainly you couldn't say Mr. Smith is making
Correct.
X, but to see what benefits the payroll office is attributing to those people and generally answer the question, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if we as the board are allowed to ask those questions, then we can, Tracy, you.
Yeah, because if you're paying benefits that they're not entitled to,
You could say money.
So if
I'm just saying.
Because I gotta figure out who they are, 'cause I really don't know off the top of my head, I might once I stop looking, but I put that consent judgment in everybody that signed
Right,
it.
so you-
I did an individual in every blue or red folder.
so just go through the list, and the guys that didn't sign
So
it,
I actually have to look through my folder.
I'd tell you, but
Yeah, but if you have a list, but if not, I know I filed in the folders everybody that signed.
yeah, it's just a,
So there's
just a
3
question
fire
that,
and 2 police.
I believe there's 3 fire and 2 policemen,
I'll,
so, you know, because I know the police contract has changed, and the
Yeah.
pension plan has changed,
But
and
I
the
know
MOU
who I
has
gave a
changed.
check to, who I retro money back to, so if I can find my work on all that, spreadsheets that I did,
You'll-
I probably can narrow it down, right?
Oh, yeah, oh, absolutely,
I think I can
Yeah.
that way.
yeah, and because each guy had to sign individually.
Yeah,
Okay, because the town, when we filed the lawsuit, everybody was in, or nobody got in,
Yeah.
under the MOU.
okay,
We had to say, all the guys that and I hate to say represent, but I speak for, had to agree to this MOU for the town to sign it in front of Judge Rubine,
I think I know,
What year was
I think
that?
I'll be fine.
2014.
2014. So,
Okay, yeah, we'll look into that. then.
thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. You as well.
I'll research
And actually,
it.
okay, good, appreciate, I'd like to actually go back to the Almonte thing while I'm thinking about it. Do all the recommendations that he gave us as the board, I don't think we've acted on any of them. So I would like to have all of us review those recommendations.
Those were,
I can send you a copy, because she just sent me one, so.
okay,
I see,
Yeah.
right. I think.
Could have been you, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Somebody did. But yeah, all right, I just think we should review them, I mean, because
Yeah,
we spent
absolutely.
all that money, we might as well do something, especially we're gonna get, reviewed with internal control again from the new auditor, so it would be nice if something is in effect.
Yeah, if you had corrected is the wrong word, but addressed anything, that was reported.
Right.
Do you have that email, Tracy?
For Almonte, I think I sent it.
It's one of you.
Maybe we both did.
Either way,
Either way, can you send it to me?
I thought I sent it to Lou the other day, you and
I'll-
John Semino. I sent it to you and John Semino.
Yeah, so again, I'll pass it on to you guys.
Yeah, and there was a resolution, I want to say in the October meeting, if I remember correctly, that moved to make that a public record. So
We definitely
Anybody-
made a public record.
yeah,
I don't-
so
Yeah,
anybody can have
I've already
it.
given that out. to
Right.
All that group, yeah, you've already all, they've got it.
Yeah, you have
Like,
it, right?
They got it like last year.
Agree that was public record, we got.
We got, right, I remember, I think it was October, I could be wrong, but it was last year.
It was last year,
Yeah.
right. Can we just take 5 minutes so I can have Mrs. Kelsey sign?
Yes,
stuff?
yes.
So I'm gonna put it on pause before we go, if you guys gonna go into executive session.
Yeah, there's no more comments from public.
Now you can go to adjourn for the executive session.
I will have her sign that, and then we'll do executive session.
I just put.
Okay, Okay, in accordance with Rhode Island General Law 42-46-4 and 42-46-5A2, I'd like to have somebody make a motion of the pension board convene into executive session to discuss personal issues and litigation.
I'll make a motion that the pension board convene into executive session to discuss personal issues and litigation.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Go.
Make a motion, yeah.
What am I doing? I can't make the motion.
He does.
See, trying to pass it off.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to close the executive session
I
and
second
seal
it.
the minutes.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
You're biting my nails,
Okay. You gotta-
We don't have anything except to adjourn, right?
That's it?
That's it.
Then
Well,
you're
you
gonna,
gotta open, didn't you gotta,
I just
now,
gotta wait for
now you're gonna motion to
Yep.
right.
I gotta write this down, so I, well, actually, I don't, I can't do it.
To reopen the,
Motion to open,
seal the minute.
yeah, your motion to reopen into open session, to seal minutes from executive session.
I now make a motion to reopen into open session and to seal the minutes from the executive session.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion approved.
And now make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion, we're adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.
Good.